ClickView in SAP version 5.6 using the Extractor connector. With the introduction of version 5.6 of the SAP connector for use with SAP NetWeaver, we've introduced an additional connector for SAP, namely the Extractor connector. Within the SAP ERP system, there are a number of predefined data sources which are used for the BI systems, namely the extractors, and these are now available for us to use in version 5.6 of the connector. These extractors use the standard SAP extraction method, namely using RFCs and IDOCs, which are a standard for other SAP BI products. Effectively, an IDOC is a standard data structure for EDI processes between SAP applications and external programs. They serve as a vehicle for data transfer in SAP's application link enabling system. Each IDOC effectively generates a self-contained text file, and it is these which ClickView can use for analysis in the front-end applications. A number of advantages exist with this new connector. The purpose was to develop a connector to make it easier to use the predefined data sources developed by SAP for their own BI systems. An advantage is the minimal needs of skills to understand the underlying data structures within SAP. Effectively, one extractor connector can combine many different tables for different purposes without having to know the predefined knowledge of how these tables link together. Another advantage is that several of the data sources extractors include a delta mechanism, which will be a great help when developing ClickView applications. And finally, another advantage is the extractors are using standard SAP functions and programs. So now we're going to take a look at a demo of utilizing a basic extractor within ClickView. Within my ClickView application, I just go into my script layer, and firstly I connect to the SAP system. So in the drop-down box you will now see an additional connector available to us, SAP Extractor connector. Firstly, I connect to the SAP instance, type in my credentials and IP address, type in the client number as usual, and my login, which allows me to use the SAP Extractor connector. I click on Test. My connection has succeeded. I click on OK, and the extractor string is generated for us. You'll now notice a new button available to us, which will list out all of the extractors available for ClickView to use. I click on the extractor button, and we get a new screen to enable us to pull information from the extractors available. Here we choose our logical system. I'm going to choose this particular logical system and search for all of the extractors available to us. We can also pull information from hierarchies too, so extractors can be built on top of hierarchies. In this case, I'm just going to pull a basic extractor. I can also select the language. I'm going to use English, I'm going to use this logical system, and I'm just going to pull the extractors themselves. I click on Search, and the list box here is populated with all of the extractors that are available for ClickView to use. I'm going to choose the cost center extractor. On the right hand side you get some information about the extractor itself and also information about how the extractor can be used, i.e. is delta load available, or is it delta load only, or is it a full extraction only. So I pick my extractor, then I get the fields within the extractor. Here are all the fields available to us, and here we can also apply conditions. So if I needed to add a where clause to the extractor, I can click on the box and add in a condition to extract the information. In this case I'm going to pull all of the data. Once I'm happy with my selections, I can add that to the script, click Done, and we can see the script is generated for us. So at the top we have the extractor name, we have the load script, and finally we have the SQL to extract the information. Underneath here we have a number of options in this particular extractor determining the up mode. That's effectively determining the delta extraction process. I can either choose up mode F, which will pull a full extraction. Up mode C is telling SAP this particular extractor will be involved in delta extractions going forward. So for any delta extraction I run it in up mode C first, then I run it in up mode D, which just pulls the delta. And finally we decide how we store the information to various QVD files. Depending on the mode of extraction depends on the QVD that you may need. So I'm going to run this as a full extraction, and I'm going to choose the full storage to QVD file. And I will just comment out the drop table statement just so we can look at the information once it's extracted. So I can save that script, and I can click reload, and click view now will interact with the extractor and pull the data back for us. Here the data is returned, and now we can select the fields that are required to analyze from. So in this particular extractor it's looking at the cost center master data, and I can select a particular cost center. I can see the associated master data with that information. Click View for use with SAP NetWeaver version 5.6, the Extractor connector.